She'd been a fighter all her life.
She had a learning disability and a chronic illness.
She lost her husband.
She had children removed from her home.
I just don't know how she was able to handle it.
But just when it appeared her life was back on track, it came to a violent end.
She had stab wounds all over her body.
There was blood everywhere. That has to be scary.
I don't know what motive someone would have.
The answer will make her tragic death even more senseless.
Is she pregnant?
Everyone loses in this situation.
Life is over.
This was something that should have never happened.
July 28th, 2018. It's early Saturday morning in Kansas City, Missouri, the Show Me State's largest city.
It's really thriving downtown, so it's a fun place to live. It's a fun place to work. It's a great place to raise your family.
Kansas City is known for being a good Midwest city. It's in the middle of the map. It's the heartland.
But even the heartland of America has its fair share of crime.
We have, unfortunately, a large number of homicides within the city.
And in the pre-dawn hours that morning, the grim tally goes up again.
Somebody, what happened?
911 received a frantic call from a woman.
A young woman was found in the yard of her grandmother's house.
When police respond, they find a grieving family gathered outside the house.
There was a young woman laid out on the grass, and she was covered in blood.
Guys, go ahead and step back from there. Let my partner work with her, okay? Do you know her? This is your need?
I can only imagine the fear, the trauma that immediately set in when you see your loved one laid out on the ground.
What happened and how long she'd been there isn't clear.
A family member had found her lying motionless in the yard, moments before the 911 call came in.
Andrew. Came in there and we found her out in the front yard.
She had stab wounds all over her body, from her head to her neck, her chest, her stomach, her arms.
Ear section in the chest.
But when the EMTs check for vital signs, it's clear the victim is already gone.
Unfortunately, as much as they tried, there was nothing that they could do.
All anyone knows for sure is the identity of the victim.
What's her name?
Andrea Vine.
Life had been a series of challenges for 27-year-old DeAndrea Vine.
DeAndrea had some struggles that she had to deal with.
From childhood, DeAndrea had suffered from epilepsy and associated learning disabilities.
Having a learning disability and a chronic illness like epilepsy can be damaging to self-esteem.
Epilepsy or with any type of cognitive delays can make it very hard to function in a school setting.
She was in special education classes.
She did not let that stop her. She was a very determined soul.
But there was one part of her life where DeAndrea didn't struggle.
DeAndrea was quite popular in school. She had a lot of friends, got a lot of attention.
And soon after high school, she attracted a different kind of attention.
At 18, DeAndrea met a man who she developed a long-term relationship with.
His name was Marcus Williams.
How you doing?
When you're young, you're excited to know that you have someone that likes you.
You have a young lady dealing with the difficulties of feeling different, and now you have a young man expressing interest in her.
DeAndrea felt like when Marcus is different, it gives me hope. It reminds me that I'm safe and everything is better.
Over the next few years, what started as a teenage crush turned into a family.
They had 4 children together, and they were happy and making things work.
She was loving her kids, and he helped with the kids as well.
She was always trying to do the right thing and always trying to be a good mother.
But love couldn't overcome all the problems DeAndrea faced.
With motherhood, you don't always get it right. It's very, very challenging.
Eventually, DeAndrea's children were taken into foster care by the state.
A doctor alerted Child Protective Services because he suspected Marcus may have physically abused one of the children.
DeAndrea couldn't believe it.
They made her mad and frustrated.
DeAndrea was adamant that Marcus would never hurt her children.
They didn't even determine he actually did it. So they just had him go to anger management classes.
Getting their kids back would be an even greater ordeal.
And having to have this interaction with children's services, I would imagine that posed as a difficult time for her.
For any mother, losing your children is not easy. It's not something that you've ever planned for.
Worse was to come.
In 2017, worn down by the custody struggles and his battle over the abuse allegations, Marcus committed suicide.
I can only imagine how DeAndrea felt now that she doesn't have her children living with her and the love of her life has taken his own life.
But she wasn't alone.
She had a very strong family support group who were very lovely individuals.
With her family's tireless support, DeAndrea managed to get her children out of foster care.
We had to go through a lot of, allegations and everything to get them back.
And she wasn't going to let anything stop her from rebuilding her family.
DeAndrea took a job at Walmart, which was very difficult for her with the epilepsy, but she was determined to get things back on track and to provide for her family.
She's a fighter. It takes a strong woman to be able to have these learning disabilities, health issues, be able to get up and go to work every day, to provide for yourself and show the courts that you are capable of being able to take care of your children.
But now, a year after Marcus's suicide, DeAndrea's family has called 911 after finding her bloody body in the yard outside her grandmother's house.
She was lying on the ground, wrapped in a blanket, bleeding from multiple stab wounds.
But when EMTs remove the blanket, they uncover a possible motive for the crime.
They discovered that DeAndrea's underwear was missing.
This could have been a sexual assault.
A year after the father of her 4 children committed suicide, 27-year-old DeAndrea Vine was rebuilding her life.
With help from her mother and grandmother, DeAndrea was able to get her children out of foster care and back with her family.
She went and obtained a job at Walmart, which, given her epilepsy, could present as a difficult thing to do. But she took the challenge head on.
She continued to move forward with her life after all the tragedy that she had experienced.
But now DeAndrea's children have suffered another tragic loss.
Early that morning, DeAndrea's cousin found her bloody body lying in the grass in front of her grandmother's house.
She was stabbed multiple times all over her body. Her face, her neck, her chest, her stomach, her arms.
And that may not have been the only horror she suffered.
DeAndrea was found with no pants and no underwear on, which led them to believe that she was sexually assaulted.
While it will take an autopsy to determine if that's the case, detectives arrive and are able to determine where the deadly attack began.
There was a trail of blood leading from the front yard all the way to a white van that was parked outside of the house.
There was a large amount of blood on the driveway just outside of the passenger side.
When detectives checked inside the minivan, they found that it was covered in blood.
They also find her cell phone in the van, and there's a receipt on the floorboard.
The receipt contains what appears to be an important clue.
We got a shoe print.
On this receipt was a blood-stamped shoe print. It was a big clue for detectives because she wasn't wearing shoes.
And it wasn't just any shoe print either.
It was the Vans brand of shoe, which has a very distinct print on the bottom.
Looking to narrow things down even further, detectives turn to DeAndrea's family.
Ms. Vine lived with her children and some of her other family members in the home where this occurred.
So sorry about your loss this evening. Why don't you tell me what happened?
Most of the family members at the scene were either too young or too distraught to interview.
However, DeAndrea's uncle does have some useful information for detectives.
Her uncle arrived home around 1 a.m. and he actually seen DeAndrea outside talking to a younger male.
She was sitting right here. The shed with some of her blood, something with her backpack on. I remember that.
Okay.
But he said when he parked the car and walked up to the house, this man was gone. He disappeared already.
He told them he never really got a good look at him.
All he can say for sure is that he was young and wearing a backpack.
When you say young, are we talking like young or like 18? Teenage?
DeAndrea's uncle says he assumed the young man was a friend of his niece's.
Hey, how you doing, Lacey?
Yeah.
He did speak with DeAndrea and everything seemed fine.
You okay?
Yeah.
You been all right? Okay.
He didn't think anything of it, nothing suspicious, and he went inside to go to sleep.
Until 3 hours later, when DeAndrea's cousin burst into their grandmother's house.
My brother's kid, he came in at 4 o'clock that morning, and he said he seen her out there, blood everywhere.
However, when the detectives asked who might have wanted to harm DeAndrea, her family members had no idea.
Is there anyone that you can think of that she's having any arguments or beef with right now? No?
All right.
Thank you guys for the cooperation.
After talking to the family, the detectives fan out across the neighborhood, looking for possible witnesses.
They go door to door on a mission to find out what happens to DeAndrea.
One neighbor does describe something unusual.
There was a woman across the street that happened to see a man driving, and he stopped and asked her, "Hey, did you order an Uber?"
Hey, excuse me. Did you order an Uber?
No, I didn't. She explained to the Uber driver that she hadn't requested a ride, and he drove off.
Okay. Do you know what time that was?
That was at 1:48.
Then, as she was heading inside, she heard a commotion across the street.
They're arguing and fighting. It sounds kind of serious. So I was like, okay, well, let me listen a little bit just because I'm nosy too. I'm listening and I hear a girl, she sounded like she was saying, okay, I'm sorry, stop, I won't do it again. So that's when I was like, are you okay?
Hey, is everything okay over there?
She had actually called out to see if somebody needed help, and then she didn't hear anything else.
But she says she never saw DeAndrea lying in the grass, covered in blood.
There were several cars parked on the street in front of the residence, which was obscuring her view of the body.
But the neighbor says she did see someone.
A gentleman walked to the side of the van and he got like a bag or something out of the van.
What kind of bag? Like a backpack or a...
I know it wasn't like a Walmart bag or a trash bag, but it was a bag.
She didn't have a lot of details that she could give detectives about who the person was.
As far as like making out his facial features and stuff, I didn't really get a very good look at him.
Okay.
I could tell he was black.
Could you see maybe how old he looked?
No older than 25.
Detectives suspect this was the same person DeAndrea had been talking to earlier that night.
Her uncle had already told detectives that the person she had been speaking with was wearing a backpack and appeared to be pretty young.
But it's not until DeAndrea's sister arrives at the scene that they get their first clue to his identity.
She was telling me about this guy she worked with.
There was this guy at Walmart that was flirting with DeAndrea.
In fact, DeAndrea's sister thought that they had done more than just flirt.
Do you know his name?
No, I just thought he was really young.
After family members found DeAndrea Vine stabbed to death in her grandmother's front yard, her sister has given detectives a clue to the identity of the man she was seen with earlier that evening.
DeAndrea's sister informs them that DeAndrea may have been talking or messing around with a young person at work.
That gave detectives something to work with as far as who this individual she was speaking to might be.
Do you know his name?
No, I just thought he was really young.
So were they like dating or just kind of flirting at work?
Maybe just messing around. I'm not really sure what they were doing.
Her sister didn't know much about the dynamic of the relationship.
But she does know that DeAndrea enjoyed the attention.
I would imagine it would be very difficult being a single mother raising 4 children, maybe not much time for dating. And so it would feel great to have someone show interest.
Aren't you supposed to be in the stockings?
Yeah, but, I just came to say hi.
It probably just made her feel like the most special woman in this world.
However, according to her sister, there was one big drawback to DeAndrea's new suitor.
Her sister stated that he was only 17.
So there's a chance it was just flirting?
I just know she had a problem with it.
He's not 18 yet, and she is 27. There could be legal repercussions.
If DeAndrea had rejected the teenager, could that have led to a deadly attack?
The police suspected that she'd been sexually assaulted, so there was a possible scenario where the coworker had forced himself on DeAndrea, and the violence escalated when she fought back.
There were a large number of stab wounds, which is usually indicative of someone who knows their attacker. There's usually some sort of a relationship to garner that much rage.
The morning after DeAndrea's murder, the detectives attempt to track down her would-be boyfriend.
Detectives head to Walmart to find out who this 17-year-old is.
While talking to DeAndrea's manager, they learn that the young man is most likely 17-year-old Xavier McDowell.
The manager tells them that he actually sees DeAndrea and Xavier a lot in the break room.
And according to the manager, they weren't just hanging out.
The supervisor said that they had to break them up from making out in the break room.
He would have to tell them, hey, you guys have to stop and go back to work.
Their behavior was inappropriate, but there were no indications of any sort of harassment going on.
It was just that she was engaged in sort of a workplace romance with this young man.
I'll give you his address.
But the relationship between Xavier and DeAndrea confirmed. Investigators head to his parents' house to question him.
Looking for Xavier McDowell? We just need to ask him a few questions about one of his coworkers.
Xavier?
Yes, sir.
We need to ask you a few questions about DeAndrea Vine.
Sure. I heard about what happened, but I just can't believe it.
When they talked to Xavier, he seemed very sad, very affected by the news that she had passed away.
She was such a nice person.
During the interview, Xavier is upfront about his relationship with DeAndrea.
He did indicate that they had a sexual relationship, but there wasn't much other than that sexual relationship between the two of them.
So no plans for the future?
Nothing like that. It was just having fun,
He called it a lust relationship. He said they had only been together 2 times.
They met up at a hotel.
Why a hotel?
She lived with her people, and we couldn't meet here. So.
Xavier lived with his mom, so his place was out too.
He informed detectives that the last time they had sex was about a month ago.
When was the last time you saw her?
It was yesterday at work.
He told detectives they had been on the same shift at Walmart the night before.
They didn't talk because things were so busy at work.
He was only able to wave hello to her.
What time did you get home from work?
10. My brother had picked me up.
Xavier told investigators that his brother had picked him up for work and that he had stayed in for the rest of the night.
And Mom, you can confirm that he was here all night?
No, I can't. I worked the graveyard shift and I didn't get in until 5 a.m. this morning.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Was it possible he'd slipped out later that evening and went to see DeAndrea?
Detectives were aware that Xavier didn't drive, and he lived about 3 miles away from DeAndrea.
Detectives doubt that he walked.
However, one of DeAndrea's neighbors did tell detectives there was an Uber in the area around the time of the murder.
They needed to track down this Uber driver.
Detectives also need to see who DeAndrea had been in contact with on the night of her murder.
Detectives subpoena records for DeAndrea's cell phone.
Whether DeAndrea met up with Xavier or someone else that night, her phone records may show who she had talked to on the phone or exchanged text messages with before they got together.
But detectives are still working those leads when they're contacted by another of DeAndrea's co-workers.
Homicide.
The woman called police and told them that she had some potentially important information.
I don't know if it has anything to do with what happened, but she told me something.
Ms. Vine had communicated that she may be pregnant.
Detectives investigating the brutal murder of DeAndrea Vine have learned that the 27-year-old may have been expecting her 5th child.
According to a coworker, DeAndrea had told her that she was pregnant.
The news takes detectives by surprise.
None of DeAndrea's family had said anything about her being pregnant.
Is she pregnant? You don't think so? Okay, I just want to make sure.
Of course, DeAndrea may have had her reasons for wanting to keep the pregnancy quiet.
Did she say who the father was?
No.
Detectives suspect the answer may be DeAndrea's 17-year-old co-worker, Xavier McDowell.
Xavier admitted that DeAndre and him had been intimate with each other on 2 separate occasions.
So she didn't say it was Xavier's?
No. I kind of just assumed it was.
Associates from her workplace knew that she was involved in a romantic relationship with Xavier.
If he's the father, does that also mean that he's her killer?
He was only 17, so he might not have been happy about becoming a father.
Did DeAndrea ever talk about possibly ending the pregnancy?
No, but that wouldn't be like her either.
She was a mother of 4 who adored her children.
Detectives also have to consider the possibility that the baby wasn't Xavier's.
If DeAndrea had been hooking up with someone else, jealousy could come into play.
Maybe she was the victim of a love triangle.
Did DeAndrea ever talk about possibly seeing someone else?
As far as I know, it was only Xavier.
Love triangle or not, when detectives received DeAndrea's autopsy report, it's clear whoever killed her was enraged.
When investigators got the autopsy results from the medical examiner's office, the first thing that stood out was the sheer violence of the attack.
It was well over 30 stab wounds.
And that's only a fraction of the injuries cataloged by the medical examiner.
A stab wound is something that actually penetrates into the body, and then there's incise wounds, which are more of a superficial cut, and she had dozens of both on her body.
She also had defensive wounds to her hands and arms.
DeAndrea fought desperately with her attacker.
These type of stabbing cases, there's a lot of rage involved and just a lot of severe injury, which unfortunately make the victim's demise just so much more brutal.
And there is one more thing that the autopsy makes crystal clear.
She was not, in fact, pregnant.
It's potentially a bombshell piece of information.
Was DeAndrea simply mistaken when she told her coworker she was pregnant?
Perhaps more importantly for the investigation, what had she told Xavier?
For Xavier to have a motive, it wasn't necessary for her to actually be pregnant. He just needed to think she was.
When detectives received DeAndrea's phone records, They comb through call logs and text messages looking for the answer.
The records showed that Xavier did reach out to DeAndrea in hours before the murder.
They found several phone calls from Xavier to DeAndrea.
DeAndrea did not answer any of his calls.
The detectives have no way of knowing exactly why Xavier was calling DeAndrea, but their text messages give them a pretty good idea.
There were text messages where detectives saw that the two of them, just a few days before her death, discussed a possible pregnancy.
Xavier texted DeAndrea and said, "Oh my God, stop telling me that stuff.
Don't tell me you're pregnant."
Xavier was not happy.
Could he have been desperate enough to kill?
Detectives investigating the murder of DeAndrea Vine have learned that the mother of 4 wasn't pregnant. But it appears DeAndrea's co-worker turned lover, Xavier McDowell, didn't know that.
Based on the text messages between Xavier and DeAndrea, he was panicking about the prospect of becoming a father.
Being 17 and being told that you're getting ready to be a father, that has to be scary, especially if you're not in a place financially to support a family.
However, tying Xavier directly to the murder proves more difficult.
The pregnancy gave him a motive, but none of the eyewitnesses that night were able to give detectives more than a vague description.
One neighbor saw a man bend down, pick up a backpack, and then run off.
DeAndrea's uncle had also seen a young man with a backpack talking to DeAndrea on the porch.
Neither of the witnesses got a good look at the young man, but detectives suspect there may be a way to identify him.
According to DeAndrea's neighbor, there had been an Uber driver in the neighborhood at the time of the murder.
Excuse me, did you order an Uber? No, I didn't.
The neighbor told police he'd been trying to locate the person who'd called the ride.
Now detectives are looking for the Uber driver to see if Xavier was a passenger.
It's important to put Xavier at the scene during the time of the murder.
Detectives contact the rideshare company and are eventually able to track down the driver who was in DeAndrea's neighborhood the night of the murder.
Hello?
He said that he was dispatched to that address around 1:30 that morning on Saturday.
But the rider wasn't there.
I didn't actually pick up anybody.
Why is that?
While I was waiting, I heard screaming. There's a woman screaming.
The driver says he never saw the woman, but he did see a man.
He said that he'd seen a man running away.
He ended up getting scared and left.
Did you see what this guy looked like?
I don't know, it was dark. I didn't really get a good look at him.
What about the ride request? Was there a name on it?
Yeah, usually, but this time it just said X.
The rider had only used an initial for his Uber profile, and the card linked to the account was a prepaid debit card, so it didn't have a name on it either.
However, the driver does have some useful information for detectives.
The destination for the requested ride was Raytown South High School.
Raytown High School is really close to Xavier's house.
Okay. Thank you.
But it still isn't enough to put Xavier at the crime scene.
So they went back to Walmart, that went through hours and hours of surveillance footage of inside the store.
The surveillance footage captures both DeAndrea and Xavier at work, just a few hours before the murder.
Just as Xavier told the police, they didn't really interact on the video.
They did wave at each other.
But that isn't all the video shows.
Hold it. Go back.
But you see something?
Yeah, right there.
Xavier was wearing Vans.
That was the same type of shoe as the bloody footprint left on the receipt detectives found at the scene.
It was very clear that it was the same brand of shoes.
It's the extra piece of evidence the detectives need.
They proceed with an arrest warrant to take Xavier in.
When detectives sit down with Xavier, he agrees to make a statement.
He started out by repeating what he said to police in his first interview, that he and DeAndrea were just together for casual sex.
I wasn't really in love, and I knew it wasn't supposed to go any further.
But there was a complication. Or so he thought.
She told me that I had got her pregnant. Oh, she did?
Xavier said that DeAndrea told him about the pregnancy a few days before the murder.
Did you have any reason to not believe her? Or?
No, because I know what I did, and I know I should have wore that condom.
Xavier also admits that he wasn't happy about the idea of being a father.
Did you want her to not have a baby?
Yeah, at first, but she wouldn't agree to anything like that, so I can't force someone to want to give her the baby.
Not that detectives believe him.
They started pressing Xavier about the night of the murder, but he was still sticking to his original story.
Xavier reported that he came home from work at about 10 o'clock.
Okay, so you go straight there. And then you're there until you go to bed except midnight?
He denied going to her house that night.
It looks like you called her about 4 times between 12 and 1 a.m. Did you do that?
I did call her.
Right. Okay. Did you go over to her house that night? That's just not true, man. Ask yourself this. Would I be asking you if you went over there that night? Would you be sitting here if we didn't know that you went over there that night? Okay.
He then confesses that he was there that night.
Xavier said he went to DeAndrea's house that night only looking to hook up.
So you're going over there for your booty call. What time is that?
That was around 2 in the morning.
But there was one problem.
There were so many people at the house that they couldn't have any privacy inside.
She didn't want to wake her kids up or anybody, so we had sex in the backyard.
Okay. What else happened?
Then she went into the front and sat down where there's like chairs, and then I went home.
Detectives know that's a lie.
We found the driver that you originally called and didn't get in the vehicle.
He saw you running off, man.
You heard the screams.
Sensing that they've backed Xavier into a corner, detectives keep up the pressure.
There's no way to get around this stuff, man. I'm telling you, there's just no way.
But that didn't stop Xavier from trying.
We didn't have sex in the back.
Okay.
We had sex in the car.
Which car?
The van.
He got in the passenger seat. DeAndrea got on top of him. They did have sexual intercourse.
But according to Xavier, while they were having sex, things took an unexpected turn.
She went crazy.
He said that she pulled out a knife and started to attack him.
She tried to kill me.
Xavier McDowell has admitted that it was him in the minivan with DeAndrea Vine on the night she died. But he says he's no murderer.
Did you plan to go over there and kill her?
What were you planning to do? Just talk to her?
Sex.
He said that while they were having sex, she pulled out a knife.
I saw her lift up a knife.
You saw her lift a knife up while she's on top of you?
Yeah.
He says what happened next is mostly a blur.
He was able to grab the knife, but it was only reflex.
My hand went like this, and that's how it kind of cut a little bit.
Right.
But she didn't really get to cut me.
DeAndrea wasn't so lucky.
Xavier says that he, in self-defense, stabbed her in the neck.
But that wasn't the end of it.
He said that she started to swing at him with her fist.
She was screaming at me.
So he continued to stab her.
How many times did you stab her in the neck?
I don't remember.
He said that she then exited the van.
And then she's on like the ground.
But DeAndrea's ordeal was far from over.
He said he had to stab her even more because she had to die.
You were scared of getting killed.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So that's why you killed her.
He had to make sure she was dead. That was his logic.
Then, according to Xavier, he'd gone back to the van and grabbed his backpack before returning to where DeAndrea lay bleeding in the grass.
Why'd you come back?
Because I didn't know if she was dead or not.
He then stabbed her a few more times to make sure she was actually dead.
Finally, sure that DeAndrea was dead, or at least dying, Xavier made his escape.
I hopped over fences. I ran.
Then he called another Uber for a ride home.
Once he got home, he was able to take off all of his clothes, clean himself up, and then burn his clothes outside in the backyard.
Xavier's story fits at least some of the evidence at the crime scene, but not all.
The physical evidence and the nature of the injury to Ms. Vine's body were not consistent with his version of what happened.
You went over there to stab her. That's exactly what it looks like.
You're not defending yourself. That's BS. We know that.
We know that's not true.
A realization that sinks in once detectives step out of the interview room.
Lord, please help me. I'm hurt. My life is over. It's over. It's over. My life is over.
Xavier may be a killer, but he was also a scared 17-year-old kid.
And he's going to jail.
Our man standing up.
But Xavier will never stand trial.
Xavier agrees to plead guilty to second-degree murder. He actually admitted that he was the one that had the knife that night.
He said, I didn't tell the truth in the beginning. DeAndrea did not attack me. I actually attacked her.
Still, parts of Xavier's story were true.
He did go over there under the pretext of a booty call.
I think what really happened was they probably did engage in sex in the minivan.
But when it was over, Xavier confronted DeAndrea about the baby she claimed to be carrying.
DeAndrea really thought she was pregnant, and Xavier was scared to step into parenthood.
Listen, DeAndrea, we have to talk about this baby here.
I already told you I'm not arguing about this anymore. He admitted that he was very angry about the pregnancy.
So angry that he became violent.
Xavier, stop!
He started stabbing her in the neck and throat area in the minivan. She was able to get out and try to escape.
But she didn't get far, and Xavier was right behind her.
Then suffered a large number of stab wounds, which would be consistent with somebody likely standing over top of her and stabbing her because he wanted to make sure that she was actually, in fact, dead.
Although at his sentencing hearing, when the judge asks Xavier if he has anything to say for himself, he doesn't keep silent.
He did express remorse at the sentencing hearing. I do think he was remorseful. He was very young when this happened.
Xavier will be far older when he finishes paying for what he'd done.
The judge sentences Xavier to 23 years in prison.
But is the sentence good enough?
This is a mother that was taken from her children. So is this justice? Absolutely not.
What's worse, DeAndrea's kids lost their mother just 1 year after their father's tragic suicide.
Which means that much like their mother, DeAndrea's children will face a lifetime of challenges.
You just have to feel so sorry for these children. My heart goes out to them.
She was a single mom who'd moved from a small town to the big city, seeking a fresh start.
She want better for her and her son.
She was working as a nurse's aide and had already made a lot of friends.
But one spring morning, her son makes a tragic discovery.
His mom won't wake up.
He's very upset, very scared.
Our next door neighbor, her son came over and said she's dead.
The crime scene is particularly bizarre.
There was a weird, starchy smell. There was all these little pieces of potato.
There's nothing ransacked, there's no cabinets open.
And the twists in the case will send detectives spiraling for answers.
It really makes you question who would have done this to a pregnant woman.
She told you who the father was, right?
He also had another girlfriend who was pregnant with twins.
She knows she's my ex, but she don't know she's pregnant.
I think these two people were going to find out about each other.
The relationship is getting more and more contentious every single day. Had this been his child, it could turn his marriage upside down.
He was kind of crazy. He beat us one time.
She actually texted, "I sense the is trying to kill me."
You forgot he messed with the wrong one.
April 14th, 2017. It's Good Friday in Arlington, Texas, a large, affluent suburb nestled right between Dallas and Fort Worth.
It's a very family-oriented city. It's not as busy as Dallas, but it still has its own energy.
Today, many Arlington residents are already off work, preparing to celebrate the Easter weekend with their families.
There's lots of shopping, lots of getting your outfits together, lots of getting your meals together.
But the festive atmosphere takes an unsettling turn when a 911 call comes in to Arlington Police.
We need an ambulance. Her son came over and said she's dead.
You believe his mother was dead?
Yeah.
The son, who is 8 years old, told her his mother is not moving, she's bleeding.
His mom won't wake up. He's very upset, very scared.
His mom is 25-year-old Kenesha Walker.
25-year-old Kenesha Walker and her son had only been living in Arlington for 8 months.
Kenesha was originally from a small town in Mississippi.
She got ready to leave and move to Texas because she said she wants better for her and her son.
She found a good job as a nurse's aide, moved into a nice townhouse, and really seemed to be thriving.
She had a lot of friends. She was like my angel child, really my angel.
However, nothing was more important to Kenesha than being a mom.
Kenesha and her son had been through a lot together. His father was murdered 4 years earlier, but she was determined to give him a good life.
Hey, Mama.
Hey, you ready for school?
Yep.
She raised him right. He was a good mannered child. Everything she did it with her son. She'll take her son out. They'll go out to eat together. They'll go to movies and stuff together.
After moving to Arlington, Kenesha also reconnected with an old flame, 27-year-old Keith Haynes, who was living in the nearby city of Plano.
Kenesha and Keith dated on and off throughout their high school years in Mississippi and remained in touch over social media ever since.
I can't wait to show you all the best spots around here.
Keith had moved there 4 years earlier to work with the Dallas County Sheriff's Office.
He was working as a courtesy patrol officer.
So it only made sense that the two would rekindle their prior romance when they were back in the same city.
Pick me up at 8.
All right, I'll see you then.
They came from a very small town. And so when you move to DFW, which is a very big place, knowing somebody from your hometown was probably very easy.
But now, police are en route to Kenesha's home after receiving an alarming 911 call from her neighbor.
Her son came over and said she's dead.
You believe his mother was dead?
Yeah.
When police arrive at Kenesha's residence, they cautiously make their way inside.
Everything is neat. There's nothing out of place.
Everything looks normal. There's nothing ransacked, there's no cabinets open.
There didn't appear to be any sort of forced entry in the home, and it didn't look like the house had been rummaged through.
But in the primary bedroom, investigators locate Kenesha.
She's laying in bed with the covers pulled all the way up to her neck. She's been shot in the back of the head.
They figured that she had been asleep and had no way of defending herself or being aware that the shot was happening.
Detectives are perplexed by the strange scene before them.
There was a weird, starchy smell, like gunpowder and wet French fries. There was all these little pieces of potato.
There are potato pieces scattered not only all over the room, but on top of her in the blanket.
And when investigators pull back the blankets covering Kenesha's body, they make a tragic discovery.
They realize she's also pregnant.
She was clearly 7-8 months along.
Sadly, there's no chance of saving her unborn baby either.
It really makes you question who would have done this to a pregnant woman.
Find another key piece of evidence.
A few feet away from the bed, they ended up discovering a shell casing.
Looked like a .40 caliber, nothing special.
Investigators do a sweep of the entire apartment and confirm that nothing of value has been stolen.
A purse, a wallet, all that was still on her kitchen table. Her money, her credit cards and stuff, bank cards.
However, one thing is missing from the apartment.
There's no sign anywhere of Kenesha's cell phone. Police immediately worked on processing a warrant to get access to her phone records.
The missing phone, combined with the lack of forced entry or other stolen items, leads detectives to believe this was no random attack.
Initially, I felt pretty confident that it was probably going to be a known suspect or somebody had a key or had access to the place.
But who could that person be? Detectives head next door, where Kenesha's neighbor is still caring for her 8-year-old son.
He appeared to be in shock. He was saddened, stunned.
Investigators are hoping the young boy knows if there was anyone else in the home with him and his mother the night before.
Was anyone there when your mom put you to bed?
He said that he and his mom were the only ones in the apartment when he went to bed around 9 p.m. that night.
He didn't even hear a gunshot or anything overnight.
However, Kenesha's son says someone else was there in the early morning hours.
He says that around 2 a.m. he was not feeling well, and he did go into his mother's bedroom to let her know, and there was a man that was in the bed with her.
And when he asked who it was, she told him it was Moosey.
When detectives asked the son, does he know anything about Moosey or even his real name, the son can barely tell them anything.
He didn't know who it was. He didn't recognize him.
Okay, and then when you woke up in the morning, Moosey was gone?
Kenesha's son woke up around 10 a.m. and went to his mother's room.
Mom?
That's when he found her and subsequently ran to the neighbor's home for help.
To detectives, it seems very possible that Moosey could be behind Kenesha's murder. But who is he? Before investigators can continue trying to answer that question, they have the grim task of contacting Kenesha's mother.
She was still living back in Mississippi.
Miss Bagley, I'm afraid I have some terrible news.
They said your daughter was murdered. Then I said, what? I said, no, not my baby. She did not get in no trouble at all, period. I was nervous and shaking. I said, no, this cannot be true. I said, not Kenesha.
I started telling her, what happened to her daughter and if she knew of anyone that could have been harming her daughter. And she said, no, not really.
Everyone loved my daughter. She had no enemies.
I asked her if she'd been in a relationship, and she said nothing current.
Nothing she told me about.
Alicia knew her daughter was expecting, but she doesn't know who the father is.
She does admit that Kenesha's very private about her personal life and doesn't provide her with a lot of insider information as to who she's dating.
But when detectives mention the name Kenesha's son provided, the name of the man he saw his mother with shortly before she was killed, it jogs Alicia's memory.
They said, you know anybody nicknamed Moosey? I said, yeah. My heart just dropped.
Texas homicide detectives investigating the murder of 25-year-old Kenesha Walker have just shared the grim news with her mother back in Mississippi.
I said, no, this cannot be true. I said, not Kenesha.
She couldn't think of anyone who would do this to her daughter.
That's when detectives share the information they've learned from Kenesha's son.
He said he saw a man his mother referred to as Moosey in her bedroom shortly before she was killed.
They said, you know anybody nicknamed Moosey? I said, yeah. My heart just dropped.
She said, oh, I know who Moosey is. Moosey is Keith Haynes. They were dating together back in high school.
As far as I know, he still lives here in Mississippi.
Kenesha's mother was very confused. As far as she knew, they weren't even in contact with each other.
In hopes of learning more about Keith Haynes, detectives run his name through their database and confirm he's currently living in the nearby city of Plano.
They find out that he works for the Dallas County Sheriff's Department as a courtesy patrol officer.
So police are wondering, someone who actually works for the state and the police department, would he actually do something like this?
But before detectives can reach out to Keith, someone else arrives at the station to speak with them.
The young woman is a close friend of Kenesha's named Ava Nelson.
Ava explains that she'd been with Kenesha earlier that evening before she was killed.
So she was at your house last night to wash her clothes. Were you there when she got there?
No, I was at the nail shop. When I got there, she was laying across the couch like normal.
Y'all had a small conversation, I'm assuming. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Nothing. She was on her phone. She was on Snapchat, looking at different stuff.
Kenesha did not mention anything about anyone coming to visit her that night.
Ava doesn't know of anyone that would want to hurt Kenesha.
However, when detectives broach the subject of Kenesha's pregnancy, Ava does know who the father is.
She told you who the father was, right? Mm-hmm. What's his name?
Keith Haynes.
However, despite the baby and Kenesha's history with Keith, Ava doesn't really think the relationship was all that serious.
She never speak on him. I guess it was just a spleen.
So they just kind of hooked up or something like that?
She said that Keith also had another girlfriend who was pregnant with twins at the same time and due the same week as Kenesha.
He was in a long-term relationship with a different woman.
But Ava doesn't know the woman's name or how to get in contact with her.
He was staying with the girl out here. He's been with her a long time. I don't know anything about her.
Police determined that this is a very volatile situation and it could definitely be a motive for murder.
Now more than ever, detectives need to speak with Keith Haynes. And when they reach out to him, it appears he's been expecting their call.
He says, I already know, my name is already out there.
Keith insists that he has nothing to do with the murder and says he's heading to the police station right now to clear his name.
But not before going live on social media.
I started getting notified by other detectives that Keith Haynes was on Facebook Live going off on a rant about how his name was being brought up in this murder.
I don't know how my name come up in this book.
And I thought, well, that's pretty handy. I did ask other detectives to record the rant.
Say, I'm supposed to kill somebody? Well, I tell you what, I'm headed to the motherfucking police department. Let them motherfuckers know, and the moose ain't had nothing to do with nothing.
When Keith shows up at the station that afternoon, he's immediately escorted to an interrogation room.
Keith tells investigators that he is only here to clear his name.
This is a voluntary deal? Yes, sir. If any time you want to leave, just let us know and you'll be free to go. I ain't leaving until we done.
He claimed that he had no idea what happened to Kanisha and that he had no reason to hurt her.
Keith also confirms that he's known Kanisha for several years and that they dated on and off during high school in Mississippi.
Well, did y'all stay in touch after y'all broke up, after high school and all that? Or?
You know, we will still talk to each other when we see each other. We'll text here and there, whatever.
However, Keith admits that when he reconnected with Kanisha in Texas, their relationship heated up quickly.
We hooked up a couple times, but you know, that was it. We had sex and whatever, and that was it.
He admits that he could be the father of Kanisha's unborn child.
But Keith insists he wasn't with Kanisha in the hours before she was killed.
Keith says that he was not with her last night. It's been more than 24 hours since he saw her.
Keith says the last time he saw Kanisha was on Wednesday, April the 12th.
I came up, she cooked, and we just talked.
Okay, so what do y'all talk about then?
We pretty much just talked about what she was gonna do with the kid, and you know how I was gonna help out a good mind.
Detectives then start to think maybe her 8-year-old son was confused and possibly did not see Moosey just the night before.
Maybe he actually saw Moosey a couple of days before and just got confused with the time frame.
Detectives switch gears and ask Keith about the other woman he'd allegedly been dating.
Detectives asked Keith if he indeed had another girlfriend, and he admitted it and said yes. However, he denies that his other girlfriend is pregnant.
And she's pregnant, right?
No.
She's not pregnant.
Is there anyone else that you know of that is pregnant with your child, or is there anyone else that's pregnant claiming to be your child? Or,
No. This is gonna be my first.
Keith concedes that he hasn't been honest with his girlfriend regarding his relationship with Kanisha.
Does she know anything about Kanisha?
Yeah, she knows she's my ex, but she don't know she's pregnant.
And she doesn't know you've been messing around with her.
But Keith says he isn't the only one who's been playing the field.
He says that Kanisha was also involved with some married white guy.
It was kind of crazy. We got beat up one time.
Homicide detectives in Arlington, Texas are interviewing 27-year-old Keith Haynes about the death of his former girlfriend, Kanisha Walker.
Kanisha was 8 months pregnant when she was killed, and it's possible Keith was the father.
But Keith tells detectives he's not the only man they should be looking at.
He says that Kanisha was also involved with some married guy.
Who's the other guy?
That I don't know. She just told me the white guy. See, she was secretive.
Keith didn't know the white man's name. He just knew that Kanisha mentioned that it could have been his baby or it could have been Keith's.
However, Keith says Kanisha was reluctant to tell the other man he could be the father.
He was kind of crazy. He got beat up one time.
She had not let him know that she was pregnant because she didn't know how he would react.
I was like, well, you got to tell him. So the last time we talked about telling him was actually a Wednesday. She told me that she was going to tell him.
To detectives, this sounds like a perfect storm of a motive.
After Kanisha disclosed her pregnancy, he could have become upset and, knowing how domestic violence escalates, killed her.
When there is a new baby coming into your life, if you are a perpetrator of domestic violence, you are going to be losing power and control in one way or another.
Had this been his child, it could turn his marriage upside down.
Did he murder her to save his marriage?
However, before detectives shift their focus to their new suspect, they need to clear Keith.
Wednesday was the last time I saw him.
What did you do Thursday?
I didn't do nothing. I was home all day.
It wasn't a solid alibi. They couldn't really verify it. But he gives his DNA. He hands over his phone. He's doing everything an innocent person would be doing.
Keith, this is the phone that we're gonna look at?
I asked him if he would consent to allow us to search his phone. He said, yes, you can have my phone, and he signed the consent form.
He also gives detectives permission to search his car and his apartment.
Well, we'll get down to the bottom of what's going on. You know, so, but the fact that you came down here, we appreciate you taking the time to do that.
When I got down to the car and started looking through it, it was pretty clear that this was not something that had been used in any sort of crime. I asked him, do you mind if we go up and search your apartment? He said, no, come on. It was clear when we got there that nothing stood out immediately.
Next, detectives work on identifying the married man Keith claimed Kenesha had been dating.
They started reaching out to Kenesha's social circle to see if maybe they could find out who this individual is.
They were turning up empty answers. Nobody really knew who the white boyfriend possibly could have been. The only person they knew of in Kenesha's life was Keith Haynes.
But when detectives talked to one of Kenesha's best friends from back in Mississippi, Maya Lewis, they get some more insight on the situation.
Did Kenesha tell you about a married man that she was seeing? A white male?
Keith is the only man she'd been with around that time.
Maya lets them know that Keith and Kenesha's relationship is very rocky. They were always consistently arguing, and they never seemed to get along.
But according to Maya, when Kenesha found out she was pregnant, Keith believed they'd rekindle their romantic relationship.
Oh my God, we're gonna be a family.
He wanted to get back together, but Kenesha did not want to be involved with him at all.
What's wrong?
This doesn't mean we're back together as a couple again, Keith.
She was willing to allow him to co-parent their child, but she felt he was a liar, a cheater, and she really didn't want to be involved with him.
Look, we can work together to raise the baby, but that's it.
Maya explains that Keith had let Kenesha down too many times in the past.
She was over it.
And when it came to getting ready for their baby's arrival, Maya says Keith let Kenesha down yet again.
He hadn't done anything to help her. She had to purchase all the baby items herself.
He's not contributing in any way. He's being very irresponsible.
And she had been sending me screenshots of the horrible texts he would send her whenever she would just try to get him to pitch in.
Maya said that in the screenshots, it appears that the relationship is getting more and more contentious every single day.
And as the tensions between Keith and Kenesha escalated, Maya says one text in particular stood out to her.
Kenesha let Maya know that if something were to happen to her, it was likely Keith.
Kenesha is speaking to us from the grave.
She actually texted, "I sense the is trying to kill me."
In speaking with one of Kenesha Walker's best friends, Arlington detectives have learned that Kenesha sent a chilling text message just 2 weeks before she was killed.
Kenesha let Maya know that if something were to happen to her, it was likely Keith.
She actually texted, "I sense the is trying to kill me. If I come up dead, please show police this." Kenesha signed off the text message with a hashtag main suspect.
I wish I could have done more to help her.
She goes, I think it was her way of telling me that something's up with Keith, and she felt concerned about him.
And when Maya shares the screenshots with detectives, they agree.
In the text messages, it is clear that Keith is really pushing for a relationship with Kenesha, but she lets him know that she doesn't have time for games or fooling around.
She basically let him know that she did not want him in that way. The text messages grew more and more aggressive. It became clear to detectives that Keith had not been on the up and up with them.
Not only did Keith mislead detectives into thinking he and Kenesha were on friendly terms, but it appears he also lied about the other man she was supposedly dating.
As if that's not incriminating enough, when Kenesha's cell phone records come in, detectives make even more disturbing discoveries. The text messages on Keith's phone aren't matching up with the text in Kenesha's phone records.
Keith had seemed really forthcoming when he came to the station. He even let detectives go through his phone. But it turns out he deleted a bunch of messages between him and Kenesha from the night of the murder. Keith had told detectives that he had last seen her on Wednesday night. But the text messages showed that Keith had been texting her on Thursday, April 13th.
He was texting her the night of the murder, about 10:45 p.m.
They have text messages where he is telling her, I'm on my way. I'll be there in a few minutes, leave the door unlocked.
Text messages are pretty damning, but police also discovered Keith changed his phone number the same day Kenesha's body was discovered.
How on earth do you explain that?
This new evidence is enough for Arlington police to move in on Keith.
We went back and at that point issued an arrest warrant for Keith Haynes.
Keith is taken into custody at his apartment without incident, and he's booked on capital murder charges.
For Kenesha's family, the news of Keith's arrest comes as a huge relief.
I know it was him all the time. It made me feel good because they finally had got him.
They go back into the interrogation room a second time. Keith agrees to waive his rights, and he agrees to talk with them.
You voluntarily waive so we can talk for a minute? Okay.
Police think that they may be able to get a confession out of him.
They had tons of circumstantial evidence, but there is nothing more compelling than having a suspect admit to what they did in their own words.
Is there anything that you feel like we need to change, amend? Is there anything you want to tell us?
Initially, Keith sticks to the same story.
Essentially, you told us that you last went over to the apartment on Wednesday.
Yeah. Keith maintained that Wednesday was the last time he saw Kenesha, and that he wasn't with her the following night when she was killed.
That's when detectives roll out the cell phone evidence they've collected.
They show him the text messages that were shared with Maya about Kenesha thinking that he might try to kill her.
She texted and said, I sent this just trying to kill me. If I come up dead, please show the police this and the other screenshots. Hashtag main suspect. What? Yeah.
Detectives continue to press, confronting Keith about the deleted texts from his phone.
So we started going down the path of, well, what about this? Why is the conversation showing that you're coming over here? And he denied it.
It ain't not my first time lying up. It had been a number of times I lied to him like I was coming and did it.
He says, I wasn't really ever planning to come over there.
Why did you switch numbers?
I always switch numbers.
Well, why did you pick Friday?
It wasn't the reason why I just picked it. I just changed it.
I mean, you have to understand, Friday morning is when we found Kenesha, right?
Right, but that ain't got nothing to do with that, though.
That's just a coincidence. I mean, everything I confronted him with, which clearly showed that he had done the offense, he just continuously denied.
The more evidence police present to him, the more it seems like Keith is trapped in a web of his own lies.
Keith, if you've lied to us before and you want to talk to us about something, let us know.
But will he finally come clean and admit to killing Kenesha?
You got an explanation, Tom?
You should have now before it's too late. I wish you wouldn't have been in that situation.
Murder. Detectives also had the GPS data from Keith's phone.
The GPS data shows he left his house around 11 p.m. and arrived at Kenesha's house at midnight. He doesn't leave until 4 a.m.
Police believe Kenesha was killed around 3 a.m., so Keith had every opportunity to commit this crime.
I was asking him, since we first talked, you said that you stayed in your apartment all night. Well, why is your phone showing GPS coordinates outside of this area?
That would be her house. You're sending that text message saying I'll be there in 40 minutes, and we pull the GPS coordinates in your phone, and about 40 minutes out, you're here? Now, is that a coincidence?
That's wrong, I tell you that, because I didn't go anywhere on Thursday.
Keith, how do you explain that?
To be honest with you, I can't even explain it. Like, I don't even know if that's true or not, to be honest with you.
This is coming off the GPS from your phone. I can't make this up. You got an explanation, tell me.
I mean, I don't.
Again, everything was just deny.
He's still sticking to his story.
We're not playing games with you. We showed you everything, the conversations and all that. Right now, what I'm asking you to do is explain it. Explain the truth to us.
I don't know what truth you're trying to say, and like I said, I did not kill Kenesha Walker.
No matter how many holes police poke in Keith's story, and no matter how much pressure they apply, he still refuses to confess to the crime, and eventually just stops talking.
I ain't got nothing else to say. I told y'all what I had to say.
They have enough evidence and they are going to push this case forward, but he's just shutting this interrogation down.
He really is displaying characteristics of a sociopath, maybe even a psychopath. In retrospect, we know what he did. He knew what he did. He was just so callous.
Years pass before Keith's case goes to trial.
The wheels of justice move slowly. They were moving even slower in this case.
We had been delayed because of COVID and some other snags with the case.
Like every year, they'll constantly postpone it. My grandson, he was mad.
Prosecutors also hope the passage of time won't impact Kenesha's son's memory of the events leading up to her murder.
He was going to be an absolutely crucial witness, but he was 8 when this happened, and he was well into his teenage years by the time that we were going to trial.
When Keith's trial finally begins in December of 2023, prosecutors argue that he had a clear motive for wanting Kenesha out of the picture.
He was running out of time. He had 2 girlfriends, and he was going to have a baby, and he was going to have to pick one. And he was going to have to admit that he was cheating. His time was running out, and he had to make a decision.
What's that?
Oh, nothing. How was your day, babe?
He had a good situation where he was living with his other long-term girlfriend, and Kenesha was pregnant with his baby and was going to have him providing child support. These 2 people were going to find out about each other. And so our theory was he treated her like a loose end that he needed to tie up.
I'm gonna go out for a little while after dinner, okay?
Where to?
Just to visit an old friend.
He ultimately became a murderer.
As Keith felt the walls closing in on him, he made a desperate plan and put it into action on the night of April 13th, 2017.
Prosecutors say Keith texted Kenesha that night to let her know he was on his way over and to leave the door unlocked for him.
We'll never really know why Kenesha agreed to let Keith come over that night. Perhaps she thought they were just going to discuss their co-parenting relationship.
She had already that gut feeling that this was not the guy for her, but he was going to be the father of her child. And it was that little piece in my mind why she left that door unlocked. I think she felt comfortable. They knew each other from high school. They had a previous relationship.
Once it got late, he probably convinced Kenesha to let him spend the night. And that's probably why around 2 a.m., Kenesha's son saw him lying in the bed.
After Kenesha fell asleep, Keith grabbed a potato from the kitchen and snuck back to her room.
Keith places the potato as a silencer on the gun, places it on the back of her head, and kills Kenesha instantly with one single gunshot.
She was sleeping. She never saw it coming. Keith Haynes then flees the scene and leaves it for her 8-year-old son to discover his mother's body the next morning.
He didn't care about how her son would find her. He didn't care about his unborn child. The actions that Keith carried out were very sick.
And this is a man who worked in law enforcement, a man who was supposed to protect and serve.
Prosecutors argue he did quite the opposite.
He tries to make up this story, this red herring, to throw the trail off of him onto someone else.
However, his lies drew police right back to him.
After less than an hour of deliberation, the jury returns with a verdict.
The jury finds him guilty of capital murder.
He was sentenced to life without parole.
When Kenesha's family gets a chance to deliver victim impact statements, they don't hold back.
I told him I hope he rot in hell, because you took 2 lives. You took your baby too. I don't know what he was thinking, but he forgot he messed with the wrong one. Wrong one.
I was glad to get the guilty verdict. It just seemed like it was very cathartic that all that work back then finally paid off.
But even finally getting justice doesn't heal the trauma that Kenesha's loved ones must live with every day.
I hate, but no, I can't. It ain't gonna bring her back. But I get in my dark moments, I be crying a lot. Mm-hmm.
This case really is a travesty. It was hard to really articulate the wrongness. Not just Kenesha, young, beautiful, full of life, whole life ahead of her, you know, with ambition, goals, and, you know, with the drive to succeed.
What stands out most to me about this case is just the life that Kenesha wanted for her children. She really wanted to make sure that they had a great life.
My grandson, he still have anger issue. He be having nightmares about that. When we get to talking, he be like, I miss my mom. I said, I miss her too. But I would not let him see me shedding no tears. I go in my room, I close my door, and tears start falling. Because I wish that my daughter was still here living. I would tell her how much I love her and how much I miss her.
Just before lunchtime, August 10, 2005, when a call came over the radio about a person shot dead.
We're up next in the rotation, so we had to hit the brakes on what we were working on and head over to this crime scene.
This particular shooting took place in the Bankhead Courts Apartments in Northwest Atlanta. This is one of the largest housing projects in the Southeast. A lot of good people live in this particular complex, but it's notorious for crime.
As me and Vin are careening in the cruiser in the Bankhead Courts, we see this marshal walking around with this Smokey the Bear hat, you know, controlling our crime scene and our crowd. Back up just a little bit. We're essentially the first responding officers from APD.
Looks like we beat the uniforms out of here.
What's the marshal doing here? The marshals serve warrants. They're not officers that patrol the streets, especially not in Bankhead Courts.
Hey, I'm Quinn. This is Velasquez. We're with Homicide.
Lieutenant Baldwin.
Nice. How'd you wind up securing the scene?
Caught radio traffic about the shooting, and I was in the area.
Thank you, man.
That's not easy for a group of police officers, let alone one officer who's not even APD.
So what, you did this?
No. He's been covered up. That only happens in the movies and on TV.
I think it was family that covered him.
So what happened when you first arrived?
I observed a black male on the ground with an apparent gunshot wound to the chest. He was still alive.
While he calls this in and he's waiting for either us or the ambulance to show up, unfortunately, this victim died.
There's another victim, too. Black male with a gunshot wound. EMT showed up and took him off to Grady. I don't know his status.
Right now, we gotta bookmark this victim that's been transported to Grady and deal with the situation we have right here in Bankhead Courts.
Check this out.
Lieutenant Baldwin identifies this projectile about 10 feet away from our victim's body.
That's a big sucker. That's a .357.
This victim got shot with basically what we call a hand cannon. This is bad. There's no doubt why this victim expired getting shot in the chest with a slug that big.
Detectives.
The medical examiner shows up, and at that point, we can examine the body. They pull the sheet back, and we can see it's a black male. He's got a pillow under his head.
It's got to be the family, right?
This is a unique situation. It looked like he was in the casket. Once the medical examiner starts, the processing of the body on scene is going on. The crowd is surrounding behind the tape. They're starting to rumble.
Looks like a single gunshot wound. Bullet entered here, exit here.
We know for a fact by this bullet wound path, this victim was actually standing sideways towards the shooter, possibly trying to run away. The bullet goes from one side of his chest to the other.
We got a wallet.
Thank you.
Thank God he's got his ID in his pocket.
So this gentleman's name is Kenyon Beatty, 30 years old.
Leave him alone! This particular crowd is charged up. They're angry at what happened to this young man, and they want justice.
They ain't gonna do nothing. We know they're upset, but that's normal. That happens. We're learning. This is a special victim. There's something happened here that we just don't understand.
All right, we got to do something to win this crowd over, man.
Yeah, there's definitely somebody over there who can help us.
For sure. I'm going to show him some love. Thank you.
Go for it.
We know this particular crime, someone saw something.
We need your help. So if anyone know anything about what happened to this young man today, come forward so we can do our job.
Anybody.
Two people come forward. They've got information. So my partner's announcement to the crowd worked.
All right, brother. What's your name, yo?
Adam Montrose.
Okay. You, bro, what's your name, brother?
Makai Bell.
Man, don't talk to him. They ain't gonna do nothing.
Okay. All right. Makai, Adam, come over here, man. Let's talk real quick, all right? Thank you.
We knew whatever they were going to tell us was good information because they risked putting this out in front of the entire crowd at Bankhead Courts. They didn't care. We interviewed the witnesses separately, starting with Makai Bell.
Hey, look, man, we appreciate you coming forward, all right?
Kenyon was a good dude.
He said he knew Kenyon from the neighborhood. They went to the same school together as middle schoolers.
What can you tell us?
I mean, I seen it all. I left the crib at 11, slid to the store.
He sees a group of 4 or 5 people standing out in front where Kenyon was standing. That's when a gray car pulled up, and a guy driving the car starts shooting at the crowd where Kenyon is standing.
Now, you sure it was the driver who did the shooting?
Yeah, he leaned over and just started shooting. Then he came back around.
Wait, he circled back.
Yeah, he started shooting.
Whoever this killer is, he wants to make sure that he's hitting his target. He's determined. This is personal. This isn't just some random act of violence.
He said something before open fire.
He actually heard the driver yell something. He didn't know what it was, but it was definitely directed towards that crowd.
All right, was there anybody else in the vehicle with him?
Nah, he was by himself.
Okay, you recognize the guy?
Nah, I never seen him before.
What about the folks that was with Kenyon? Do you know any of them?
Sister Danielle and his boss, Vaughn. He got shot too.
The guy who went to the hospital?
Yeah. And Adam. And there was some other dude. I didn't know him.
Look, this Adam, he was there?
Yeah.
That's the guy that raised his hand, came over the crime scene tape, and said he wants to participate in this investigation. That's good stuff.
So we finish up with Makai.
Hey, Adam. Man, thank you for your patience, yo.
Our next step is Adam Montrose and see what he says.
You all right?
No, not really.
Adam Montrose was a complete train wreck.
Kenyon was my boy.
This guy was close to our victim. He was one of his best friends.
Hey, look, man. We're gonna do everything that we can to catch this shooter. All right? Or you were there when the shooting happened?
Yes.
Okay, who else was there?
Danielle, Vaughn, and Xavier.
Xavier, what's his last name?
Buckley.
According to Adam Montrose, his story is pretty much the same as what we got from Mackay.
You get a look at the gunman?
Yeah.
He was medium complected, had a 2 to 3 inch fade haircut.
He was a big dude, like more than 200 pounds, I know.
Is there anything else you remember?
His gun.
He said definitely it was a stainless steel gun and it was a revolver.
Well, that explains why there were no shell casings on scene.
Right.
And that kind of lines with what we had. So his information is adding up. We're feeling good right now.
All right, look, did Kenya have anybody after him? Any enemies?
Not that I know about.
We don't know whether or not Kenyon was the intended target.
Either those gunshots were meant for Kenyon or he's just collateral damage.
What about the others?
I have no idea.
Okay.
At this point, we got more questions than answers. To solve this case, we'll need to unravel more than one mystery.
Did you recognize the shooter?
It was Big Red. You can't make this stuff up.
And he said he was gonna commit suicide.
This was totally unbelievable.
Police, hands up! This was a high-stakes situation.
It's him. He killed my brother.
All of the evidence was lining up.
Stick your hands out the window!
When the suspect is finally in our sights,
Open the door handle!
the case takes a devastating turn.
The suspect is fled the scene.
This was the worst day of my career.
We've got 2 new bodies.
Bullet entering on the left here, exiting to the right.
We're investigating the murder of 30-year-old Kenyon Beatty, killed in a drive-by shooting in northwest Atlanta. According to witnesses, the shooter opened fire at 5 people standing together.
Did Kenya have anybody after him?
Not that I know about.
The biggest questions we have right now was our victim, Kenyon Beatty, was he even the target?
What do you want to go to next?
Let's talk to the sister. She was there, right?
We need to find her and find out what she saw and what she may know about why this happened.
Hello, ma'am. We're very sorry for your loss.
And the mother comes to the door. Her name is Cynthia.
What can you tell us about your son?
He was a hardworking young man, married, with children.
But we know that this is an extremely difficult time for the family.
We have to get down to the nitty-gritty and ask whether her son was involved in anything illegal or anything that she thought may have contributed to his death.
Kenyon didn't run with a bad crowd. He worked a landscaping job.
Now, his boss was Vaughn Brooks?
That's right. And they didn't deserve this. They didn't deserve it.
He's living the American dream. He's not in a gang. He's not involved in any criminal activity. And when civilians get killed in hoods like this, my experience is it just hits people different.
Sounds like your son was doing all the right things.
He was.
It doesn't sound like Kenyon was the intended target.
Ma'am, is your daughter Danielle here right now?
Yes, but she ain't ready to talk.
She is so distraught. We can't get to her. And we understand. So we know at some point we got to talk to Danielle, but it's not going to be today.
Can you please give her my card?
We decide that we got to bookmark this situation like we do in so many cases.
Velasquez.
We learned that our victim, Vaughn Brooks, our second shooting victim, is going to survive, which is great information for us.
Vaughn's gonna make it.
He's going to be released from the hospital in a day or two. And we're absolutely relieved that we don't have another homicide victim.
All right, so that means we got roll call on 4 out of the 5 people that were at the shooting.
That's my number 5.
Now we got to track down this 5th person, Xavier Buckley.
There was still a large group of bystanders at the crime scene. These folks were grieving uncontrollably. We got emotion here, so we gotta use it. I just made another announcement. Yo, just tell us what's up. We're not giving up on this case.
You know, we asked, does anybody know anything about this kid, Xavier Buckley? Where does he live? Where does he hang out? Someone finally came forward and told us he's got a girlfriend that lives in the neighborhood, a girl named Nikita Stark.
You know, we were starting to earn the community's trust. We got an address for Nikita, and we headed straight over there. We're thinking maybe we got a chance to get lucky, and Buckley will be right there.
We knock on the door, Nikita answers, she invites us inside.
We just want to ask you a few questions, because we heard your boyfriend is Xavier Buckley.
He is.
Is he around?
No.
She says he was home that morning, but left around 10:15.
Xavier was gone for about half an hour when I heard gunshots.
When she looked out the window, she saw a gray sedan speeding away. And we know from other witnesses, that's our shooter's car.
A minute passes by and Xavier comes home and he's freaking out, saying, I didn't have anything to do with it.
That brother got something to do with it, or he knows what's up.
What happened next?
He was acting crazy and he grabbed his gun.
Nikita goes on to say that Buckley and all his frenzy and franticking ran out the house saying he's gonna kill himself.
And he said he was going to commit suicide.
We're looking at each other like, who does that unless you're guilty? You're crying over this victim that got killed, and now you have a gun in your hand and you want to kill yourself? It's not making sense.
Where is he now?
I don't know. I haven't seen or heard from him since he left.
Why does Xavier have a gun?
He robs people. Over the last couple of days, he's been saying people are looking for him. I think he's in trouble.
Nikita has given us critical information. He may have brought this drama to that 5-person crowd that was standing out there when the bullets started flying. So we're finishing up with Nikita. Her cell phone rings. It's got a blocked number coming in.
You can grab that.
Hello? Oh my God, baby, are you okay?
We find out it's actually Buckley calling while we're there.
Where is he?
We need a location, like where is his ass right now? We gotta talk to him, but we don't wanna lose him. We don't wanna burn it.
Where are you? The Summit Inn? Okay. I love you so much. Bye.
All right, Nikita, what room is he in?
15.
We were concerned that if Buckley knew we were looking for him, he's gonna go on the run.
We don't want him to get hurt.
So we came up with a plan for Nikita to bring him dinner later on that night at the Summit Inn.
So you're going to call him, tell him you bring him food, and we'll be there to bring him in.
Will you help us?
All right, I'll do it.
This is our sidekick in this investigation right now.
Why don't you take a ride with us and we'll discuss it some more, okay?
Come on.
After you.
It's late at night. Quinn and I are in our car at the Summit Inn on Fulton Industrial. Our fugitive unit is set up.
Everyone in position?
We're ready to go. Okay, let's make the call.
We just need this sister to make the phone call to Buckley, get him outside, tell him to come get Den.
Hey, baby. I'm about to pull up.
We are on pins and needles because we're hoping this does not turn into a shootout.
Meet me outside.
No sooner than she hangs up, a black male emerges from the hotel room in question and steps outside looking around.
That's him.
There's absolutely no room for error.
Move in.
It's old dark 30. Xavier Buckley is armed. This brother might try to go down guns blazing. Police, hands up!
He's freaking out, saying I didn't have anything to do with it.
While investigating the Kenyon Beatty homicide, we discovered witness Xavier Buckley was acting suspiciously right after the shooting.
And he said he was going to commit suicide.
That's a red flag. That's drawing our attention right now to Buckley.
Where are you? The Summit Inn?
We find out Buckley is holed up in a local Atlanta hotel with a gun. Xavier's girlfriend, Nikita, agrees to help us bring him in safely.
Everyone in position?
We're ready to go.
We got to sit back and let our fugitive units do what they're best at.
Let's make the call.
She does just as prescribed. Buckley comes out.
Move in.
We don't know what he's going to do. Buckley walks out of this hotel room and just stops. Our fugitive unit, they're approaching, and we're literally like, please, let this not be a shootout.
Police, hands up! Hands up! Turn around! Now! Get on the ground now! The fugitive squad swoops down, grabs him. He offers no resistance. He gets searched right there on the scene. He's got no weapon. We're in business. It's time to go ahead and cultivate our witness.
us through it. All right?
I was talking to Kenyon. I didn't know where this gray car pulled up.
Buckley just lays it out, and his story is not much different than what Adam and Makai told us earlier.
I had my back half turned, but dude was yelling.
Hey, Shorty, why you sending folks to my house?
Maybe he just started shooting.
So who was he yelling at?
No. Based on what Buckley is telling us, the shooter's talking about someone actually coming to his house and robbing him.
Were you the target?
Me.
Well, here's the thing. You know you robbed. All right? So was this like a lick or something?
Obviously, you don't know nothing. Kenyon was my boy.
Okay, so what about get back for something you did?
No.
So is he feeling guilty because he knows he was the intended target and his good friend Kenyon got killed instead?
I have no idea why this man started shooting.
All right, did you recognize the shooter?
Yeah, I did. I know exactly who it is. It was Big Red.
You know Big Red's real name?
Nah.
He describes Big Red as being a black male that's about 200 pounds. He's about 6 feet in height. He's a light brown-skinned guy, and he's got a faded haircut. This lines up what Adam told us. This is the same description.
I didn't know nothing about the gray car. I don't know what's up with it. Big Red usually drive a Suburban.
Does he normally have a gun on him?
Yeah, 357. Well,
Now he's basically introduced someone who was known to carry a weapon, same caliber that was used to kill our victim.
When's the last time you saw Big Red?
been a while. Probably June.
Look, you got a phone number for this guy?
No, I ain't got it. We weren't close like that.
We're just not buying it. It's not making sense.
But you got to give us something on this guy. You need to. You know what I mean?
I know where he lives.
All right, take us in the morning. Let's go.
Xavier leads us to a house on Oak Drive in southeast Atlanta.
Hey, you sure this is the place, bro?
Yeah, that's it.
All the lights are out. There are no cars in the driveway. Nobody's even living here. This is a vacant property.
Oh, man. You playing with us? No, not at all.
At this point, we're thinking maybe Buckley is just taking us some random place that he knows no one lives there to at least show an effort.
I'm being honest. This is his place. I don't know what's going on with it right now.
So based on what he's telling us, we got to go with it. We got to do a history on this house.
We need a phone number for Big Red.
I get it. All right, let's roll. Ophelia, thanks for your time.
Yeah, no problem. How can I help you?
We want to identify Big Red. That's our business right now. We got to get it handled.
We want to ask you some questions about a property you rented on Oak Drive.
I think I was only there maybe once.
You know, Ophelia says she signed the lease, but said she actually never lived at the house on Oak Drive.
Why is that?
I signed the lease for an acquaintance.
Maybe the person she signed the lease for was Big Red.
Okay, what's that person's name?
We're about to get some answers.
Hey, you sure this is the place, bro?
Yeah, that's it.
We've identified Kenyon Beatty's killer as a guy known as Big Red, and we're trying to track him down. We located a residence that our primary suspect, Big Red, reportedly lived.
You playing with us? No. I'm being honest.
This is a vacant property.
How can I help you?
We want to ask you some questions about a property you rented on Oak Drive.
We tracked down the last tenant on the lease, and she admits she signed the lease for an acquaintance and she never lived there.
Okay, what's that person's name?
At this point, we might finally get the name of our shooter.
Eddie Robinson. His credit was bad, so I agreed to help out.
He couldn't really sign the lease himself, and he actually was the son of an old coworker, so he's just trying to do a good deed for a friend. Eddie actually moved into the residence with his girlfriend and their kid.
You know what kind of vehicle he drives?
A Chevy Suburban.
And that's exactly what Buckley told us. Right now, we're feeling Big Red could be Eddie Robinson.
So we heard he moved out before his lease was up. Do you know why that is?
He got robbed.
She said Robinson told her that some guys kicked in the door, laid his wife and baby down, and robbed the house.
When that happened, he took his family and they split.
Xavier's got to be involved in this.
We already know that Buckley's a robber. He carries a gun, so he's probably involved in this particular home invasion. It's all starting to make sense.
Hey, Shorty, why you sending folks to my house?
This was about revenge.
So now we're thinking Buckley is the actual target of the shooting. Our poor victim, wrong place, wrong time. It is tragic.
I haven't seen him since June.
Got a phone number for him?
No.
Eddie Robinson actually asked her to sign another lease, but she said no. She wasn't having anything to do with Eddie Robinson anymore.
Where was this new place he was moving to?
I don't remember.
Okay, Ophelia, if you can try to remember, that would help us out.
I think it was 805 Monterey.
All right, do you know if that was a street name, building number?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Well, if you find out or it comes to you, just holler at us, okay?
Sure.
Thank you, sister.
After we wrapped up with Ophelia, we got a call from none other than Xavier Buckley. He told us he has a number for Big Red. This was amazing. First thing we did was subpoena subscriber information and records related to that number.
We found out the number was registered to a guy by the name of Eddie Hulon Robinson.
And we found out he's got several felony active arrest warrants out of multiple jurisdictions. We printed Eddie's mugshot and showed it to Xavier Buckley. He confirmed Eddie Robinson was in fact Big Red.
At this point, we put Eddie's photo in a 6-person lineup.
We decided to show it to the one witness we have not been able to speak to yet, our victim's sister, Danielle.
We need your daughter's help. All right? That's why we're here. I want to show her a photo lineup.
She's a
Quinn goes upstairs to talk to Danielle. I stay downstairs with her family and just tell them what we've done so far. They want to hear our progress.
I won't take much of your time.
It's fine, I'm okay.
Yeah? All right, so tell me what you remember.
Kenyon and Vaughn came over to give me a ride.
Danielle just runs the story down, just like the other witnesses told us, and it's verbatim.
Look, I want to take a moment and show you something.
It's him. He killed my brother.
Danielle picks out number 3 on the lineup, Eddie Robinson.
Danielle, are you sure?
I'm positive.
I didn't want to break out into a crescendo of relief and gratitude, but I was feeling good on the inside.
Be strong.
Me and Danielle hugged. We made a connection up there. I'm convinced right now Eddie Robinson is our shooter.
We head back to the office to figure out our next move.
Yo, bruh, did we ever get the subpoena cleared for Eddie's cell phone records?
No. Let's see if we can figure out the 805 Monterey riddle thing.
I'm typing it into the computer, looking at different variations of it, and all of a sudden, I get an address of 805 Monterey Parkway.
Yeah, this could be it.
Bingo.
Let me give him a call.
But it's in Sandy Springs. It's another little suburb north of Atlanta, not far from our city.
Hello?
Monterey Apartments.
Hey, this is Vince Velasquez. I'm with APD.
Speak to the manager. Inquire about apartment 805.
It's leased to a Mr. Paul Rosinski.
I'm like, bang. Paul Renzinski is the guy that's renting the place. A brother named Paul Renzinski?
Thanks a lot for the information. What's up?
I know that name, man. From a case back in 2001. Hold on, I gotta check the,
I still got his file in my file cabinet.
Are you sure it's the same guy?
Shoot, Vinny. How many Paul Rosinskis you know in the Atlanta, Georgia area?
I'm gonna hit him up and see what's going on. I wanna know if he's actually living there as well.
Hey, what's up, man? Look, this is David Quinn from APD.
Paul knew me as soon as I called. So we did our quick reunion.
I need your help, man. All right, tell me about 805 Monterey.
Here we go again.
Is it Eddie Robinson's place?
Yeah, I just put my name on the lease form.
So far, every piece of information from every single witness has been on point.
All right, is he still there?
As far as I know.
Right now, it's time to bring Eddie Robinson in for this.
Let's go find Big Red.
Big Red? It's put up or shut up. Let's go.
All right, look, I need your help with something, okay?
The Kenyon Beatty murder investigation is in the home stretch.
Is it Eddie Robinson's place?
Yeah, I just put my name on the lease form. That's all.
We've just nailed down a lead on where to find our prime suspect. Eddie Robinson, a.k.a. Big Red.
Is he still there?
As far as I know.
Get information that he lives in an apartment complex in Sandy Springs.
Let's go find Big Red.
Big Red? We want to get Eddie into our office, have a conversation, confront him with the evidence, and see what he says.
Over the next couple of days, we actually set up surveillance on Eddie Robinson's apartment in Sandy Springs.
Think got anything?
Nothing.
Absolutely no sign of Eddie Robinson or his vehicle.
You think they made us?
Maybe Paul burned us.
So at this point, we're wondering, is our information good? I'm waiting to see this 90s model Chevy Suburban. It's nowhere to be seen. Right now, we're frustrated.
Okay. Thanks. Keep me posted. All right, so Eddie's phone records still haven't come in.
Me and Vin are waiting on these phone records, which are going to show cell towers to put Eddie Robinson in Bankhead Courts at the time of the murder.
All right. Let's roll, man.
And that's why we don't have a murder warrant just yet. We got all our ducks in a row before we pull this case down.
Yo, Vinny. Hey, I decided to stop by Eddie's place on the way back to the office.
Vince is in court on an unrelated murder trial. I decided to go and do some surveillance by myself.
I'll let you know if anything pops up. Uh-oh. There he is.
I know right then and there, I'm looking at Eddie Robinson's Chevy Suburban parked at his residence. Right now, this is a crescendo moment.
Eddie in the flesh.
He throws it in drive and he pulls out, headed southbound towards the city.
Yeah, this is Detective David Quinn requesting support. Currently tailing a suspect.
I asked over police radio for a felony stop with a marked unit. My heart is pounding. This is the final crescendo. I'm going to meet Eddie Robinson face to face. I'm going to follow all the procedures necessary. By this time, Vince is out of court.
Yo, Vinny.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Yeah, I'm telling them now. Hey, can you get the interrogation room ready?
All right. Keep me posted.
So after days of doing surveillance with Quinn, all of a sudden, he's telling me that he is literally eyes on Eddie Robinson. This is great, and he's about to be taken into custody. Everything we've done so far, it's coming to this moment right now.
Driver, stick your hands out the window!
Eddie Robinson is exiting I-75 South at Cleveland Avenue. He gets stopped. This is beautiful.
I'm listening to this felony traffic stop take place.
One of the police cars pulls in front, blocks Eddie Robinson in.
Driver, stick your hands out the window!
Eddie Robinson sticks both hands, I can see from my vantage point, out of the driver window, giving a full surrender. It looks like everything is beautiful.
Driver, with your left hand, open the door handle.
I get out of my car. I'm walking up to let the officers know to take him into custody. He's going to homicide. And then, in the blink of an eye, everything changes. Without warning, Eddie Robinson guns that Chevy Suburban. He's gone. He's at it.
Suspect has fled the scene. Over. Suspect has fled the scene.
I don't know what's happening next. Nothing but mayhem ensues after that. As Eddie is trying to escape, he wrecks his SUV. As I make it 1.5 miles up to this carnage that Eddie Robinson has created just off Cleveland Avenue, I see nothing but smoke.
We have multiple fatalities out here.
We have 2 more bodies connected to Eddie Robinson.
Driver, stick your hands out the window.
The hunt for Eddie Robinson, the man suspected of murdering Kenyon Beatty, was coming to an end. I hear this commotion on the radio, and what I can take out of it is Eddie Robinson has now fled this traffic stop, and he's taken off again. While trying to escape, Eddie wrecks his SUV.
As I roll up to this scene, just pure carnage.
Yo, Vinny.
Hey, partner.
Yeah, it's bad out here, man.
Eddie Robinson had T-boned a small pickup truck and actually just slammed into it and drugged the car several feet where it came to final rest.
I'll give you a call back, brother.
I just realized that both of these people in the front seat of this pickup truck, hit by Eddie Robinson, they're dead. I just went on instinct. I touched the foreheads of both of these gentlemen, and I just said a prayer. It wasn't a police moment for a minute. This was awful. These brothers' souls just left the earth based off police action. It was the worst day of my career, without question. And I look over and I see Eddie Robinson has been pulled from what now is a mangled Chevy Suburban, half its size now. He's got head injuries. It's a mess.
Yo, are his injuries life-threatening, brother?
No, sir, but he's supposed to be evaluated and bandaged.
All right, we're gonna do that back at the office.
I'm still fighting for the family of Kenyon Beatty, so I had to take him down to homicide, and I had to get an interview.
So now we're back at the office. Eddie Robinson's in the interview room getting treated. Ironically, the phone records actually come in that same day.
Yo, Eddie's phone records are finally in.
Nice. Good news?
Yeah. Cell towers confirmed Eddie was in bank headquarters the morning of the shooting.
If Eddie Robinson denies being at the crime scene, this is a powerful tool because then we can show him the records and say, hey, this is your phone records that put you there.
It's awesome.
Bring it home. Come on.
The EMTs gave Eddie Robinson the customary Grady cap, which is just a litany of gauze wrapped around the head because he was oozing blood from a head wound. His vitals were strong. Hell, his blood pressure was better than mine.
Eddie Robinson's good to go.
Eddie agrees to speak with me without an attorney present.
I need to speak to you about a murder that occurred on August 10th.
What happened on the 10th? Did you go to Bankhead Courts on the 10th?
I ain't gonna prove that. Where were you that morning?
I was out of town.
Out of town where?
Is this your phone number?
Yeah.
Did you let anyone use your phone that day?
Nah, man, not be the bill. I don't just be handed around this with you.
I'm saying he just made a confession because he's lined himself up with this phone. Well, your phone records have you still in the Atlanta area.
You need to speak some truth. Let's talk about Xavier Buckley.
It took a lot of twisting and mangling, but I finally get Eddie Robinson to admit that he was acquainted with Xavier Buckley.
Yeah, man, I mean, I know him. Dude stole from me.
He believed that Xavier Buckley sent robbers to his house, steal from the only stash spot he kept his money in, which was a kitchen cabinet. He said nobody else knew that but Xavier Buckley.
And I know you're the one that set me up.
While Eddie is not giving a confession, he's giving what we call in the business the facts.
So that's what the shooting was about. Get back for the robbery.
Eddie Robinson laid out the motive in this entire case. He confirmed that the motive of why our victim was killed was revenge for someone robbing him.
No. You tried to kill Xavier Buckley. And you killed somebody else.
Buckley was the intended target, and our victim, Kenyon, was just collateral damage.
No, I didn't say that. I told you I was out of town.
Ma'am, we're back to that? Because look, we done established that that wasn't the case at all.
And look, man, I can't help if you don't believe me.
I'm gonna believe the evidence and the eyewitnesses that saw you there that day.
He made enough mistakes in that interview room that it was just like a confession.
I've been honest with you. I'm giving you an opportunity, and I'm gonna leave it at that. All right? I'm gonna wish you well.
Even though Eddie Robinson didn't give it up 100%, we have a great idea what happened just based off witness statements and our technology with phone records. Eddie believed Xavier Buckley was behind the home invasion. So on August 10th, 2005, he borrowed a car and staked out Xavier's apartment complex. When Buckley left his apartment that morning, he bumps into Kenyon Beatty. They all were talking in a small circle, and Eddie Robinson was laying in wait.
Hey, Shorty, why you sending folks to my house?
His intention was to shoot Buckley, but he ended up shooting Kenyon and his boss, Vaughn.
Kenyon Beatty was a good guy. He just really was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Just an innocent life snuffed away for absolutely no reason.
Eddie Robinson actually goes to trial for two different cases, one for the murder of Kenyon Beatty and one for the vehicular homicide cases involved with the two innocent people at Cleveland in '85. Eddie Robinson is found guilty of all three cases and receives a life sentence.
Looks like a single gunshot wound.
I look back on the death of Kenyon Beatty, and I look at it as a case involving the death of three innocents.
Typically, our victims are people who did something, whether it was right or wrong, and there's a target.
He worked a landscaping job.
Kenyon was just an innocent guy trying to do the right thing, and he becomes a victim.
We have multiple fatalities out here.
To this day, every time I cross over Cleveland Avenue onto 85,